InvestFest 2025. Earn Your Leisure's EYL's Black Economic Empowerment Meetup that they have every year, focusing on entrepreneurs, investors, real estate investors, stock investors. Fidelity was there. Jack Dorsey was there in video. Basically, I'm going to tell you about what I didn't like about it, what I liked about it, and what I loved about it. This video is not going to have too much structure because I'm just talking from the hip without a script. Bars. But let's get into it. All right. So this is actually not a slideshow. This is my Google photos from just all the stuff that I took. I deleted a couple of duplicates, but pretty much it's just an order of pictures that I took while I was there. Many times I forgot to take pictures, but the ones I was at least intentional enough to take are there. Anyways, so what did I think of InvestFest? I went there on Friday, stayed with my boy CJ, and was there from day one. First off, the thing I did not like about it, not to start negative, but on Friday, I believe they underestimated the amount of people that would go on Friday because I guess some of the bigger names were showing up on Saturday and Sunday. So some of the meetings that they had on, trust and uh, long-term generational wealth and things like that were in this like off to the side small auditorium, and I missed three different meetups. Maybe it was two. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. It was either two or three different meetups because there wasn't enough room. Like I showed up, 10, 15 minutes before it was set to start, and there was still like at least 100 of us standing outside while people are telling us we can't come in because it's at capacity. So I think that was a misstep. You know, it happens, right? It's hard to know how big your event's going to be, and I'm sure you're planning it many, many months before all the tickets are sold. But that was kind of a misstep. I was worried about that being a problem for the entirety of the weekend, but on Saturday and Sunday, they didn't even use that room. They had two very large scale rooms. So, anybody had the option of going to any of them without worrying about them getting to capacity. So I thought that was good. So I guess the only note I would have on that is maybe on Friday, still use those two humongous rooms because I think a lot of people came there, for some of those meetups that were in the smaller rooms and they weren't able to get to them. And you can't say it's, if you really wanted it, you should have been there sooner. It's not one of those things. When there's 100, 200 people standing outside, you know, 10, 15 minutes before it even starts and they're at capacity, that's not a thing. Some of the people that were in there from the meeting before just never left so that they wouldn't, lose their seat. So yeah, I think the room just needed to be bigger. So I didn't really like that, but that did end up making me stay at the vendor marketplace pretty much all of Friday, which I didn't have a problem with. Vendor marketplace was my favorite part of the conference. So here's some blurry pictures. Here's something they had out there in the front, just showing a lot of the different people, that were presenting. They had a lot of Africans and African business vendors there, I guess, right? Because they talked about a lot of the real estate over there. And I believe a lot of people from the motherland came over just to attend, talk about their business, or just to be a part of the diaspora. So I thought that was cool. Heck, you guys don't know, but I'll be going to Africa in the next couple of months. So I'm excited. This will be my first time going. I am going for work, but hopefully maybe in the next year or two, I'll go back for pleasure. So I believe these next pictures are just going to be some photos of some of the vendors that they had at the marketplace. Honestly, I loved being in the marketplace because it's just nothing but rows and rows and rows of beautiful, fantastic, amazing, entrepreneurial Black people, right? This is no knock to white people. It's just, you don't see, this isn't a regular thing, right? It's not, um, Black people aren't normally thought of as entrepreneurial, not thought of as business people, right? We get more depicted in the media as, thugs or problems or blah, 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 blah. But to be in a space where everyone is there smiling, friendly, showing what they dedicated their lives to making these goods, selling them, trading information, collaborating with each other is beautiful. I love being in that energy. Just off of that alone, I'm gonna go back to InvestFest every year. Because that's just I love being in that kind of space. It makes me feel good internally and it motivates me mentally to do more with my business. So yeah, it was just stuff. I will say I was just taking pictures of some of these people's stuff. Like what is this? Kale Babe. Yeah, I think this is like maybe some vegan products or something. I didn't buy anything for them 'cause I'm not a vegan. Um, yep, gotta have the crystal stones. You see their stuff is popping. I'm not really a crystal stones guy. My sister's more into that stuff, but I'm just taking pictures so you can see the diversity that was there in products, right? Everybody wasn't selling the same thing. I passed this, right? She makes shirts with a whole bunch of like little black people on it, but they're in different career fields. So they got doctors, STEM, business people, astronauts, just all kind of stuff. And as I was walking by, I saw this and it had a little tutu on it. And I was like, shoot, I got a daughter. And, my daughter and my wife both like tutus. So, let me see and I ended up buying a shirt and a tutu set from her for my daughter. This guy. So this was really cool because maybe 5 years ago when I was in Honduras, I met this guy named McCray, real cool dude. He has like a podcast and YouTube channel where he highlights black businesses, right? He's real big on buying black. So after I met him, maybe a few years after, I was like, you know what? I got some extra money. And there's a whole bunch of random stuff that you can just start buying black. You don't have to go buy something super mega expensive. So I was just like, shoot, I got holes in my underwear. I need some new ones. I hit him up. I was like, hey, what's a black, underwear company? He said, I got you. And he sent me Champ. And I went there, looked through all this stuff. They got a lot of like most of their stuff is kind of like Pan-African print, right? Like I guess I don't have any pictures of it, but it was real cool. And I went there when they had a deal. So I ended up buying like 6 or 9 pair. And honestly, I've had those over the last few years. Like, I've run through Hanes, I've run through, Fruit of the Loom, all the main underwear things. And eventually, because, I'm active enough. I normally end up getting holes in my underwear just from, wear and tear. Not a single pair of these uh, boxer briefs have holes in them. And I got them, what, 4, 5? I probably got them maybe 3 or 4 years ago. None of them. They're not even turning like white where it looks like they're about to start getting holes in them. Not a single pair that I've gotten from there has holes in it. Other pair of underwear that I've bought around that same time have holes in them. So that's just a thing. But I didn't even know when I took the picture of this guy, but yeah, no, this is the owner. This is his whole little setup. I was like, that's cool. These brothers, I just ended up talking to them because I saw Investor Playbook, right? And I'm focused on uh, building out financial education, courses and products. So I guess, well, back to me for a second. The reason I was going out, maybe I should, nah, it doesn't matter. The reason I was even going to InvestFest was for a focused reason, right? I don't like to just go to places just to hang out. I want to have a goal and a reason I'm going. So my goal, I'm building out Mammoth Money Academy to help parents and teens build wealth and protect it for generations. So I just added that protected for generations part. So my main reason for going to InvestFest was to, find people in the finance education area because maybe we could collab. But my other main reason was to learn about not grants, to learn about trust, right? I believe that's something we've all heard about a lot. We understand that it's a good thing, but we also understand that it's majoritively done by the mega wealthy. I wanted to learn as much as I possibly can about trust, wills, estate planning, all of that stuff, so that I can, bring it down to a nice, digestible level and explain it to all of you, and add it to my course because I think it'd be real dope to help the parents with finances, set the teens up so that they can, have tons of money and be financially literate, throughout their life, and then show them how to pass on that information, pass on those assets to their next generation, and so it could just keep on going forever. Then I'd actually feel like I'm not just helping a person, I'm helping someone's like entire legacy, their entire generation. So that was my goal, is to find people or products that would help me get better at that. So those are some of the boosts I was really stopping by and taking the time to talk to people about. But these guys were cool. You see Investor Playbook. Feel free to look up or follow any of these people. This guy, I passed him by, but I spun the block and I came back. And his thing was a STEM plug. So he's like an engineer and he helps kids get into STEM. What I thought was really cool is this little robot thing he's over here uh, selling. It's like a robot arm that can move around and pick stuff up. It's not powered with any electricity. There's no plug, there's no batteries. He shows kids how to make it, and it's powered by water. And he shows them why it works, how to do this, and how to use it on other things. So I thought that was really cool, that whole thing runs off of water. So that's the STEM plug. Feel free to look him up, buy some of his programs or robotics. It's pretty cool. This guy, I probably had the longest conversation with on day one. And he made the legacy card deck, and it's a deck that you're supposed to go through and talk over, compare it to tonight's conversation. So you and your spouse or significant other, or really anybody, can go through these cards and really talk about, hey, what's our future looking like? What legacy are we trying to leave behind? If I pass away, what would you like me to teach to our kids? If you pass away, what should I teach to our kids? Where do you want them to go? What would you like to see them doing? What messages would you like passed along? What values? So we had a nice deep conversation. Cool guy. This brother, just say I'm a cool guy. Seemed like some people I've known that have like helped me out in the past. So I stopped there. Didn't I didn't buy like any clothes. There's lots of clothes vendors there. I was not there to buy clothes. Honestly, most of the clothes I wear are free, or it's either a Mammoth Money product or it's something I've gotten for free. So it was like a gift. Like this was a gift from somebody. I don't remember who, but this was a gift. Like literally, all the shirts I wear are gifts, or I got them from doing something like volunteering somewhere or running in a 5K. That's the majority of my wardrobe. But I stopped there because, I just wanted to support. I got a good vibe from him. And I went and bought one of these bracelets for my sister because, she's into that stuff. A cool brother. This guy stopped me because he was like, oh, you're in the military, right? Haircut just gives it away. But Black Vets, basically, this is his brand. He sells a whole bunch of hoodies, t-shirts, and he was giving out some free, them arm bracelets with his logo on them. Nice guy, former Air Force. These guys, like I said, I didn't buy any clothing from anyone, but I stopped here and talked to these guys for a little bit because I really like that this guy, he has another daughter behind him. But these are both of his daughters, and I love when families go and set stuff up and, are trying to, make that money together. I think that's cool. I hope to do that with my family sometime. This was really cool. I didn't buy one because I couldn't tell you the last time I did a puzzle. I was very tempted to, and I still might in the future. Um, these are some of like their painting and artwork, but basically they turn all of this art into paintings. It's really cool. They got a lot of really dope ones. And I mean, these are some like the puzzles that you can like take and, finish it and then put some glass on top of it and just let that be, the piece in your living room or something. These are really cool. It's very possible I might spin the block and buy one later, but those are cool for the puzzle people. This young lady, so they had a booth set up where this organization, Kidrepreneur, however you pronounce it, they help out kids that are also entrepreneurs. So this young lady, entrepreneur, she makes these necklaces that are really easy to put on and take off because they're clamped together with Legos. Real cute, real nice project. You can follow her. This might work from this video. It might not. Oh, there you go. TUS, yeah, two snaps by uh ISIS. I know how to pronounce that. Isa? No, that's not how you pronounce it. ISIS? ISIS. Yeah, I think it's ISIS. Anyways, I talked to her for a little bit. Real smart, real nice. All right, these guys, probably, not probably. This was my biggest takeaway from InvestFest. I'm very glad that I went just to meet these people, right? So I actually didn't buy the book the first day I went there, but I did buy it the last day I went there. Protect your assets. So, Black Trust Family Office Group. Basically, it's like a husband and wife. You know, obviously they have people that work with them, but their whole focus is trust. Free trust. Mm. But their whole focus is trust. They're lawyers. They've done it for multiple, like more than a decade. All they know all the inner workings of trust, how they're used on the public side, how they're used on the private side, everything that goes into them. And they were able to impart like all of that knowledge into this. See how influential it was because I have the book. They put it. This book is 92 pages. That's that's like nothing, right? For a book. Because honestly, I'm close to halfway through it, and I've only been reading it for 2 days. But yeah, no, they were really cool when I met them, and like I said, I'm trying to get my knowledge on trust up. So this was the perfect booth for me. I'm like, oh, thank God, this is exactly what I was looking for. So it was really good meeting them. They have a business. So if you're trying to get a trust set up yourself, you can reach out to them, or you want to learn about trust, go get the book. They do consultations and all that good stuff. Mahogany and Friends, Investors Club. I liked this setup. I liked how they were targeting youth because I'm a big advocate on getting my children into investing because the more they're exposed to it, the easier it'll be later when they are adults. So that's why I took a picture of this. Event noir. So this is basically they're trying to make a black version of Ticketmaster, I think. No, not Ticketmaster, of Eventbrite. So basically, you can use them whenever you're going to host an event, and they'll help you, get the word out, and you can run ticket sales through them and things like that. So I actually took a picture of this for my wife because she has more events than I do, and this might be an option she's interested in because I know she complains a lot about having to run tickets through certain organizations. Right? Boom, black owned ticket thing, event thing. All right. So, if you don't know, I'm real big into art. I love art, and my preferred type of art. I love bright, colored, abstracty, hand painted art. Right? Like I took them down because I wanted to put this stuff, financial stuff up. But I mean, even with this, right? Like this is these were done by an artist in Atlanta, and it's just kind of these are like Marvel and DC heroes, but they made it real abstracty, and there's a lot of texture to it. Like you can like rub your hand on it because there's a lot of stuff he pasted on there, and then in the background is actually each comic book that this character was in. So there's actually a lot of work that went into these, and I have like 4 of them. And then I don't know if you look on some of my older videos, you might see some of my other random paintings. Whenever I get another house and I get a office to myself, I always dreamed of having like an art gallery like corner where I just have walls full of all the paintings I've collected over the years. Anyways, I love this woman's work. I didn't buy any while I was there because I didn't feel like carrying it. Also, something in me wants to get like an original, not a print. If you're not familiar, most art, like a lot of these are prints, and it means like she's created this before, but then has like, I don't know, basically, put it through like a scanner and made a bunch of copies of it so that a whole bunch of people can have copies of it. I like getting the one where the person, like, you can touch it and you can feel the texture of the paint because it's like, no, they hand painted this one. Obviously, those are much more expensive than the prints. I think her like originals start at like $1,200, something like that. Right now, I think the most expensive painting I've bought is maybe like five, maybe 5 or 600 dollars, something like that. So I haven't broken into that thousand, but we'll get there. There's a high possibility I'm going to spin the block and purchase something from her. There is her Instagram down there, and that's mother daughter. If you can't tell the resemblance, yep, brushed ATL, real simple. This is the card of the guy I was telling you about that made the legacy cards, like conversations that you should have with your significant other. So if you want any of his info, there it is. This guy, tax and accounting firm. Um, my current tax person is okay, but I wouldn't mind maybe one that is more responsive and possibly knows more. This brother seemed real intelligent when I was talking to him. He's tall as heck. There's a lot of tall people there, like like ridiculously tall. I was like, sheesh. I mean, men and women. It seemed like everybody has played basketball in their past. Maybe that's the thing. I do think there's some correlation between entrepreneurship and athletics. I think it's that competitive edge. I think a lot of athletes also do well when they convert over to, some sort of business thing because they still have that competitive nature to them. Anyways, nice guy, talked to him. He's the owner of it. He has a couple people that works under him, Vibe Financial, dope name. So I will be trying him out, just to see if we can work together and maybe he can handle my taxes and my business, accounting and all that good stuff. So, what's this? This is just a video. So this was like in the vendor marketplace that were there, right? And this is just in the vendor marketplace. There's still a bunch of other areas where people are at, but this is just to give you like a little sneak peek on how many people are there. Cause this is like one of the smaller areas where there are hold people at. I think there were 2,500 people at InvestFest this year. Yup. Let's see what else. This guy, Cedric Nash, real dope. I attended his session on the big stage. Very influential, smart guy. Uh, Darrell went with me, right? My brother, my best friend since sixth grade, and he loved this guy. He wanted to buy the book and get his autograph in it. So it was cool having Darrell there and to see that, he was getting inspired to do more and to follow some footsteps of successful people. I love that my friends can get hyped up on the same stuff I get hyped up on. This was actually, I think, the first person I spoke to when I was there, and that's just because they grabbed me and grabbed my attention. The reason I went and talked to these ladies, basically, they help with events. Um, Getting information out about events. The reason I reached out to them, they didn't seem like my cup of tea, but my sister is into all this stuff. And I was like, she lives in Atlanta anyway. So I was like, actually, y'all should work together for my sister. I think y'all could do a lot of good stuff together. These ladies, so they created a platform. Basically, you can go there, stream movies for free, and also if you wanted your own content to, be on a platform, they made their own black owned like television platform. And honestly, if you look at their flyer, they actually got like actual stuff. Like I think they have centers on there. I think the Transformers movie is on there. So it's not like they're getting stuff from 20 years ago. They're getting the newest stuff, but it's on a black owned network as opposed to all the other streaming sites. Creative Art Studio. Yep, I think that's like a link on if you wanted to work with them. Oh yeah, like I was saying, Sinners, One of Them Days, Den of Thieves, Lioness, Blink Twice, like all these things, and you can get them on Roku. All the places where you would normally get these movies and TVs from. And this lady, she's an author. I just stopped there because she made a bunch of cool looking books, and I can appreciate that. Financially Fly. I do plan on making a book probably in the next 2 or 3 years, depending on how much I learn, if I feel it's enough to be valued in a book. And that's my sister and me. We went to this restaurant afterwards. Pretty sure nope, I know the restaurant's black owned because the guy who serving me was the brother to him. It's called Who Wanna Pho? Like, it's a pho restaurant. I got like the rice and chicken because I don't really like soup like that. But Darrell, CJ, whose house I was staying at, this is my brother who's attended with me. I appreciate them, love them. Jack Dorsey did his thing. So this lady is the owner of Kin, like Kin. I wanted to take a picture with her because I saw her on Shark Tank like 4, 5 years ago, where she was pitching, hoodies and hats that have a satin lining on them so that it doesn't mess up or dry out black people's hair. And I thought it was really dope to meet her in person and see that the business is still growing and doing well. And if you buy a hat from her, she also gave you this dope tote bag. I was walking around, I got multiple compliments on this bag, and it was just a bag I got for buying a hat. But real nice, real down to earth, just a grinder. She was just running around, still selling stuff, even though, she's had her business for so long. So that was cool. Issa Rae, here's a blurry picture I took of a screen. But she was there talking. Issa Rae is hilarious, like too genuine for her own good. And then, yeah, I love her comedy style because she'll do stuff and say stuff she knows hilarious, but she'll keep the straightest of face and just keep, going through the interview. Yeah, no, dope person. Here is a 50% off code. If anyone sells clothing or wants to build a clothing website, e-commerce business, if you go to this place, it has an AI that will build the entire store for you and market it for you with like a couple presses of a button. Like, you can have your entire store up with advertisements today. Here's 50% off to that. Is me. Is the hat that I bought, right? It's pretty clean. And because she makes it for, black people, originally it's for black women, right? In their hair. So she makes them in like really big sizes, which is good because I got a big head and I normally can't wear hats, but this worked out for me. Yep. Me, honestly, black on hat, black on watch, Tally and Twine. My wife gave me this shirt I made. So really, lots of black owned going on right here. And me myself was made by my mom. And this was on the last day in the morning. Me and my brothers having a nice little breakfast, talking about life, manhood, entrepreneurship, and whatnot. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. And I met David Shands, so that was cool. This was a big deal to me because I I probably watch Social Proof more than anything else. Social Proof, I watch Market Mondays religiously, and Myron Golden, the stuff he puts out. Those are probably my top 3 most viewed people on YouTube. So it was really cool to be able to meet David Shands. I didn't ask him for anything. I didn't even tell him about my business. Not a smart idea. I probably should have, but I really don't. I don't like to bother people, and I don't like to hold people up. So I just told him thank you. I told him I watch all this stuff and that I've had to change my business model multiple times from the information that him and Dottie have provided. And I appreciate what he does. So I just want to shake his hand, take a picture with him, and go on about life. I imagine, I'll circle back and meet up with him again later on after, I hit my successful ascension. And yeah, so pretty much we'll say this is the last one. So like I said, I didn't buy the book the first day, but I came back on the last day, and this gentleman was at the booth. So I ended up buying it from him because we just talked, had a really good conversation. I love the stuff he was talking about and explaining more about how trust and assets work. And I was like, okay, I'm with it. Let me get this book. Let me lock in with these folks and, try to learn as much as I can for the betterment of my family and for the betterment of your family. Because after I figure this out, I'll come back and explain it to y'all. And Magic Johnson was headlining. He gave a great talk. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, Fest. I didn't like that the Friday like some of the Friday shows were in a small room that could not fit anywhere near the amount of people it needed to. Hey, that's life. What I did like was the vendor marketplace. The vendor marketplace was just fantastic. It had all the stuff. It had food way in the back, separate from all the stuff, so people could go over there, sit down, talk. I highly encourage, if you do anything like that, when you get your food, don't go sit at a random table by yourself. That's what a lot of people do. Anytime I went to get food or anything, I went and sat down where some other people are already sitting at, because then that just initiates conversation while y'all both sitting there, eating, talking. Honestly, I exchanged Instagrams with all the people I ended up eating with. Each time I did it in that area, I met, financial advisors from California. I met a bassist from New York. I met just all types of different people. Um, so yeah, that's something I liked. And then what I loved was finding exactly what I wanted in this trust knowledge, finding people who are willing to expand more on it. My plan is to knock this book out in a week and then circle back and be like, hey, I read your whole book. Here are my takeaways. What's the next step to get even more information? So that's what I'm working on right now. And that was how my weekend went at InvestFest. I know, yeah, I didn't talk too much about all the main people that were speaking on stage because stars are cool, right? I watched Steve Harvey and Charlemagne. If I'm being truthful, I watched maybe half of what their thing was, and then I went to another area because I think they were talking about something more. I think I went to one of the AI panels or something. So stars are cool, but I was not there to meet stars or, listen to comedy or jokes. I love comedy or jokes, but I was there to get information that I could go be actionable on to build up my business. And I feel like I did that. So great time, great investment. I think I'm going to go next year. Well, military willing. I'm going to go next year. I'm probably going to get a vendor booth because majority of the people I had the most conversation with were the vendors. So I think if I get a vendor booth and I just put, parent team financial information, as a banner, anybody interested in that field will come up to me, and then it'll make it easier to network with them. So those are my thoughts. If you went to InvestFest 2025, let me know what you thought about it. I'd love to hear or talk about it. And yeah, long video. Y'all will be all right. Thanks for watching.